Hello, everyone. Harry here to talk about Merrick Garland's appointment of Robert Kerr as a special counsel in the Biden documents case. It is being roundly, I would say, commended, or at least everyone is saying, hey, he had no choice. You can understand that point of view. It immediately has given rise to these ugly political charges. Josh Hawley comes right out of the box to talk about the uncanny similarity between the Biden allegations and the Trump allegations, of course, and always to keep this in mind, and the press has done a decent job of it. There's no similarity at all. It is night and day. Biden, well, I'll return to Biden in a second. Trump, let us remember, is alleged with very good evidence to have personally been involved in the spiriting away of the documents, and then, and much more importantly, a sort of couple-year obstruction campaign, not telling the archives they were there until they confront him, then having negotiations for more time, then claiming they are all his, backing that up with ridiculous, phony, baloney legal claims like, oh, I declassified them all in my mind. A return of a subpoena that was incomplete and somebody lied about it at his instigation. And then finally, the necessity for a search. And even after that, all kinds of fighting on his part. So, it would look to be a textbook case for what the other special counsel, remember, Jack Smith, is doing for finding criminal charges. Let's just leave that to the side for now. But I think that one of the big reasons that Robert Kerr was appointed by Merrick Garland was to try to blunt as much as possible. Ain't no way to completely eliminate, but blunt as much as possible these essentially phony baloney charges that there are the same fact pattern with Trump and Biden. Biden, of course, as soon as anyone stumbles upon them, plays a complete open hand. Then I think the second cache of documents is found probably because Biden and his folks say, we got to look at everything, make sure there isn't another shoe to drop. And if there is, drop it fast. And there was, and they did. All of which raises political considerations. What has been a headache is now sort of at migraine proportions. Maybe some important policy rationales. Just why is it that, it seems fairly easy to squire out of the White House classified documents? So Trump does it, Biden does it. We've had other instances. Alberto Gonzales as Attorney General. For all we know, it happens all the time. If it does, why does it? And what policy reform needs to be done to keep it from happening? Because everybody agrees it shouldn't be happening, right? Fine, okay. But what Robert Kerr is about and what everyone is looking at now is criminal conduct. And I've said this before, from what we know, unless the U.S. Attorney in Chicago, who did the preliminary review and went to Garland and said, you need a special counsel here, unless there's facts we don't know, the possible evidence that Biden has committed some crime or warrants criminal investigation is, I would say, that much. There's just nothing, not a scintilla of reason to see any kind of intentional conduct or even knowledgeable conduct on his part. To all appearances, what happened is a staffer many moons ago packed up the vice president's office and included some classified docs. Why? How? Good questions, not questions that are normally about a special counsel, because no conflict. There's no reason the Department of Justice can't investigate and indeed, if necessary, even bring criminal charges against a former staffer from the vice president from 8-9 years ago. Hey everyone, we're taking a quick break to ask you to take a second to like and subscribe. It's a quick thing that really helps the show. Thanks, and back to the video. This is all by way of saying that I think this is the first instance we've had where Merrick Garland, Mr. Law, basically goes outside of the letter of the law, even as he was here citing the reg, the exact same thing that he did when he appointed Jack Smith. What he didn't mention was the first part of the reg, which says you appoint a special counsel only if you find that a criminal investigation is warranted. How could he find that? He certainly didn't tell us that he found that. And how could he, given the utter absence of any suggestion whatsoever that Biden did anything that could be criminal? So, Mr. Letter of the Law, Merrick Garland, I think went bigger here, went into politics and nuances and the trying to assure the American people that everything is on the up and up. All good, all well and good. Maybe right things for an attorney general to do, but not the letter of the regulation, which is what he invoked when he appointed Smith and now today when he appointed her. Okay, who is her? He is a former Trump U.S. attorney, importantly, but also he spent some serious time at Maine Justice in this job that is obscure on the outside, but is actually very important. The first deputy to the Deputy Attorney General, the so-called, here's some inside baseball for you, PADAG, Principal Associate Deputy Attorney General. Before that, he was a clerk to William Rehnquist, Chief Justice. Now he's a partner at Gibson Dunn. In other words, an impeccable conservative resume, but by all accounts, a hard-nosed but straightforward guy. And as I've said, I just don't see any basis for even taking much time before closing up shop reporting to the Attorney General. No basis for a crime here. That's what you told me to look at, Mr. Attorney General, and no basis for a crime. Maybe policy things to think about. Maybe that's Congress's bailiwick, but I see no basis. If and when that happens, this chapter, the Biden chapter, is closed, and they can say, we went through, the absolute most conscientious process with a Trump official taking charge of it. He found nothing there, and so that is put to bed. Will it be put to bed? Of course not. Will, if they charge Trump, there still be all kinds of screams about dual treatment and politicization? Of course, but hopefully the press and the reasonable middle, to the extent it exists in this country, will understand that the differences are very meaningful and that there's really the right thing was done for Biden. All right, there you have it. It's the appointment of Robert Tur. It's going to change things and really will continue to be a very high-profile matter for a while. Hey, wanted to mention, if the spirit moves you, the Patreon site that we have up at Talking Feds. It's a really good way, if you feel like it, to support the podcast, which is completely independent, has hardly any commercials and the like. Anyway, the Tur point means a lot's going to be happening on this ground as well as with Donald Trump. It's probably events will be coming fast and furious, and when the next one does, I'll be there to talk to you. Until then, talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.